Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah. In this video I'm going to show you how to make a spiral pyramid handmade card using a free card making printable from my website. To get the free download, visit craftwithsarah.com or click the link in the description of this video. Let's get started. Once you've downloaded the spiral pyramid, you need to print it out. So I've done mine onto glossy photo paper so it's got a nice shine to it, but you can also use matte photo paper or thin cardstock to print on. Once you've printed it, when your ink is fully dry on the paper, the next step is to cut everything out. You can either use scissors, or because it's all straight lines, you could use a craft knife and a ruler to go along to make your edges perfectly straight. If I move this to one side, I'll show you the card that I've already started. So this is the base layer of the spiral pyramid sheet. If I bring this one back in, you can see it's this one in the top left, so it's the largest square on the sheet. And all I've done is I've stuck that into the middle of a card, which I've also embellished with some pretty pattern papers. The papers I've used are from this Tropical Bliss paper pack. It's really cute. It's only 10 by 10 centimetres, so it's small bits of paper, which I really like because for card making, often with the 12 by 12 big packs, the patterns are so big that you can't really see them on a card. But in the 10 by 10 centimetre versions, you've got all the pretty patterns and they're all smaller, so they'll fit wonderfully on your card. I'll put a link to this paper pack in the description below the video. So what I did was I chose two of the 10 centimetre pattern papers. I've got this one which has a green, yellow and blue pattern on it in the top, and then just a green and yellow one in the bottom. I took some silver card and cut some squares slightly bigger to mount them on, just to give them a little bit of a border, and then stuck one on each side of a 6 by 6 inch card front. I took my main square of the pyramid sheet and then put that on the silver paper as well, so there's a little bit of silver around the edge, which I then covered in peel-off stickers, which again are silver, and some silver gemstones on each of the corners to give it a little bit of bling. Finally, I've put a border peel-off in each of the empty corners just to fill those in a little bit. Now you can assemble your spiral pyramid topper before making the card, but I find it easier to assemble the card first with this base layer, because then you're layering flat things together. If you try and do it once you've got all the 3D layers on the pyramid, it can be a little bit more tricky to get things lined up straight. So that's why I did it this way first. And I'm just going to bring in the other layers now so that we can start to make up the 3D pyramid part of the design. So spiral pyramid works biggest to largest, so we've got the very biggest bit on the card already, and then to start we need to select the next biggest, which is this one. To give a 3D effect, I'm going to use foam pads to raise each layer apart from each other. So I've got these foam pads. Now these ones are really big foam pads. You see how big that is, so I'm going to have to cut them smaller, but if you've got small foam pads already, they're brilliant to use, or if you've only got big ones like this, you'll just have to cut them with a pair of scissors to make them smaller. Foam pads also come on a roll, so if you've got one like this where it just peels off, then that is perfectly fine to use for this project too. Alright, so I'm going to use my foam pads, and then as I said, I've just got to cut them smaller. So just with a pair of scissors, I'm just going to go down and cut these into more manageable chunks. Okay, so now I've got some little squares to use. I'm going to move my card out of the way and take this largest square and turn it over and put some foam pads on the back. I like to put one in each corner to make sure it's going to stick down nicely, and then a couple around the middle as well for the largest one, because if you don't put anything in the middle, then when you build up the layers it's going to sag in the middle and it won't look as good as it could. So by putting a couple of foam pads in the middle, we stop that sag from happening. Okay, so when you're happy with the amount of foam pads, just peel off that top layer to release the sticky. Take your card or your square, big square if you haven't already made the card, and then you just need to line up the design together. So we're going to line up this slanted one with what's on the design. And I think for this one it's probably going to be easiest to line up this star in the bottom corner. So just go through until you've got the pattern perfectly lined up, and then I'm just going to drop this gently onto the card. And the reason for that is it's not completely stuck down yet, so if I thought I'd made a mistake I can pick it up and move it again. If I'd have just put it straight down hard, then it would have been stuck and I wouldn't have been able to wiggle it about if I needed to. So I'm just going to line this up again. When you're happy with how it is looking, then you can press down to firmly stick it all together. So then you just need to do the same thing with the other layers. So I've already put the double-sided foam pads on the back of my other layers just to speed things up a little bit for the video. And then for each one, again, you just need to carefully line it up with the pattern that's already on the card. And each layer will be twisted, which is why it's called a spiral pyramid. So your squares aren't going on straight, they're all at an angle to create this fun spiral effect. I'm going to keep going with the next one. It can be a bit tricky at first to get the hang of lining it up as it spirals, but once you've done a few, then it gets easier. Alright, so I've put 3 layers on top of my square now, and you might decide that you want to stop here because it's quite tall, and obviously the taller you make a card, the more expensive it can be to post. So if you stop now, then that's absolutely fine, and you've still got this wonderful 3D effect on the card. But if you wanted to go all the way, then there are 2 more layers to stick on, so I'll just do those. You can get thinner foam pads, so if you wanted to add all of the layers, then choose thinner foam pads and they won't pop out as much, so then you can get away with having them without paying so much postage. There, and now one more. So for this one I've just got one bit of foam pad on the back because it's so small, and I'm just going to line this one up. And there we have it, our spiral pyramid is done. So if I tilt it, hopefully you can see some of these 3D bits and how it's all looking, how the square of our original design has been transformed into this fun 3D spiral effect. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this video tutorial on how to do spiral pyramids. Don't forget you can get this design for free, as well as over 100 other free craft printables over on my website, which is www.craftwithsarah.com. Click on the link in the menu which says freebies, and that will take you to my downloads library where you can browse through all of the different designs I've got in there and just download them all to your computer absolutely free. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please give it a thumbs up using the little icon below. And for more card making tutorial videos, subscribe to my channel. I release new videos every week, usually more than once a week, and it would be great to have you as a subscriber. Thank you for watching. Bye!